Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch is a significant modern Patek Philippe. Probably made in no more than 500 to 700 pieces. This is the Patek Philippe Nautilus 3711 1G-001. It's a model that was only made from 2004 to 2006, and it was sort of the center-second successor to the 3700 Jumbo, which was discontinued in 1990, and a warm-up of sorts for Patek Philippe's 5711 that bowed in 2006. This watch is very rare, a hard find. Even in my line of work, it does not visit often. And it is the same size as the 3700, but there's some significant differences in how it feels and how it looks, setting it apart from the later 5711. So it's 40 millimeters in diameter if you measure it diagonally. If you measure it across, it's a 42, but that's always the way Nautilus models are measured, two different measurements. We go from roughly 10 o'clock down to 4 o'clock to measure the diameter. In profile, it's slender, 8.7 millimeters thick if we measure lug-to-lug, and just the lugs, it's 44.2 millimeters across the wrist. If we measure the first end link on each side, total distance across the wrist, 48.1 millimeters, and it has a mass of 189 grams. So it's a fairly hefty watch despite being slender in every regard. Throwing it on the wrist, it's very comfortable. The bracelet is lace-like, almost like metal fabric, incredibly comfortable. It wears easily, and I could recommend it for wrists as small as 14 centimeters in circumference. It easily slides underneath a cuff, no issues there. Note that the dial is black, not gradient blue like the later 5711. You can see how perfectly this fits. Taking a look at the bracelet, I want you to take note of just how thin these links are. This is nothing like a 5711 or a 5811. These are some of the thinnest links I've ever seen on a Patek Philippe watch, and you'll note that in spite of that, back when this watch was made, Patek was still fixing removable links using screws, so with a jeweler's screwdriver, yeah, you can actually size this up. You'll also note the presence of an intermediate sized link in there to fine-tune the fit. It's a double fold deployment with a clamshell lock, so you can see how both sides close, and then it has a little clamshell that snaps down to hold it in place. This is gray gold, so it's a type of white gold that is white all the way through and never needs to be rhodium plated. That's why it's a little bit whiter than, say, a rhodium plated white gold. Even back in 2004, 5, and 6, when these were made, Patek was using the good stuff, the white gold that is white all the way through. Now, the watch has not been refinished. You could see that. It's got a couple little marks on it, particularly you could see here on some of the intermediate links, but you would really prefer to have all factory metal with a thing like this and not a lot of refinishing. So we'll leave that to you if you want to make it, quote, shiny. We didn't. The watch is beautifully made, and again, the feel of this bracelet is nothing like a modern Nautilus. It is much more delicate and enticing. Taking a look at the case, you can see Gerald Genta's masterpiece is present and correct in its original form. This, if you take a look here, is a beautiful execution. The Nautilus case form has always been a complex one. We have a lot of small bevels. We have the case back, the mid case, and then the bezel with its flanking wings, all of this locking together to achieve water resistance. Now, I should mention that this is a push-down crown, so this is not a screw-down. This is not a 120-meter watch. This is going to be more like a dress watch water resistance, so somewhere between 30 and 60. I don't recommend it for swimming due to the absence of a push-down crown. You can see the crown design with the Calatrava cross outboard. The nuance of the Nautilus case is really one of the factors that justifies a higher price than the Aquanaut. It's just objectively a more complex assembly with more demanding decoration. The Nautilus, originally coined in 1976 as the 3700 reference by Gerald Genta, and you can see if you look, it's got a outer bezel, inner bezel, crystal, and dial that are all the same rounded polygonal form. If you look at the prior Royal Oak from 1972, at that point Genta had the idea of this rounded off polygon, but then the inner bezel, the crystal, and the dial were all round. Here it's symmetrical from the outside to the inside. We have the lateral striations across the dial, white gold hands and indices. Of course, we're well into the era, even in the early 2000s, of luminova on Patek Philippe watches, so of course it does glow. The 3700 wouldn't have had center seconds, but this watch does, which again is a bit bit of a warm-up for the later 5711, and you can see that although it does not have a hacking movement, a little bit of back pressure is sufficient to freeze up the center seconds hand if you do wish to set to a reference time. Now there's also a quick set mechanism, so you can rapidly cycle the date, and the hands and the indices are all white gold, so they won't tarnish or oxidize with time. Flip it all over, get a little bit closer now, and you can see we've got caliber 315. The predecessor to the 324, the main difference is that, well, this is an older caliber, so it's Geneva seal, not the later Patek Philippe seal. But more importantly, this is a 3 Hz beat rate rather than the later 4 Hz, and that's the main difference. They're both automatic winding center rotors, and they have 45-hour power reserves. They don't hack, but they do have a quick set date. This watch pivots on 29 jewels. It's adjusted in 5 positions, which is the high horology and chronometer standard. You can see the Poinçon de Genève on the bridge, the decoration solidly par for Patek Philippe's price, class, and image. We have a free-sprung Gyromax style balance for precise adjustment, and then better than average shock resistance for a high horology watch. You can see the case back with a combination of brushed, polished, and media blasted decoration. An incredibly special watch. Again, no one knows exactly how many were made, but the number is between 500 and 700, and everyone agrees that the number is well below 1,000, so these are super collectible. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.